Hi, welcome to this video. We're on XFCE, on the flagship of XFCE, and we're making updates videos about ArcoLinuxD. The D stands for Decide Your Desktop, right? Decide what you want to learn about. XFCE, OpenBox, i3. Phase 3, check out the learning phases. Phase 3 is go and have a look at all the other possible desktops, 20 desktops to learn from. Phase 5, you're going to build them yourself, also very interesting and very interesting if you want to have a personalized Linux distribution, right? You can build it yourself, that's the B. Build your own ISO with Steam on it, with Sauerbraten on it, with Vivaldi on it, etc. You can follow those tutorials. I'm in the process of updating other articles like, for instance, Awesome. We've done phase 2, XFCE installation, OpenBox installation, i3 installation have been updated. And the idea of all these updates is to make you aware that there are basically 4 ways to update, to install your desktop, right? You can either start with ArcoLinuxD, that's what this website is all about. But XFCE is XFCE, right? So you can learn here. And ArcoLinuxB XFCE is just the same thing, it's XFCE as well. So all the articles apply here. Now, the thing is, I think I just came around to change the installation article of Bspwm. As you see, it starts always with option 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the old version of the article. So I'm gonna change the Bspwm into something similar as, for instance, this one. Making you aware that, guys, you have full freedom in the ArcoLinux project. You can use ArcoLinuxD, you can use ArcoLinuxB, and you have the tweak tool, Ctrl-Alt-E. So let's first update this particular article for phase 3 Bspwm, and let's install it together. All right, the article has been updated. All I need to do is refresh. And again, we have an article that's new, that needs to be changed. So this is Bspwm on real metal, 2 screens. And like I said, there are different possibilities to get your system up and running, right? We have the ArcoLinux ISO. The flagship is XFCE OpenBox i3. It's a starter ISO. There's an ArcoLinuxB, it's option 3, where you decide to download something or build something. The point is that you build it. That's what the B stands for. But basically, nobody is telling you what to do. You can always go to ArcoLinux info, go to download, to download ISOs, that's better, and then decide to download SourceForge here. Any of the Bs, any of the desktops, 20 desktops to choose from. All right, and if this is possible, then you have also the tweak tool. If you install it, of course, but normally it is installed. But I always think of people going to the phase 5, meaning you go to ArcoLinux. That's up here. Here you just can click whatever system you like, whatever desktop you like. It's just a button away and it's installed also. Never mind what you started with, ArcoLinux, ArcoLinuxD, or ArcoLinuxB, or even ArcoLinux, right? If you go for phase 5, you can always get our tool, the Spice Up ArcoLinux, but that's even one step further, more technical, going to go through all the motions of an ArcoLinux installation. All right, this said, we need to choose for the video. Will we take option 1? Will we take option 2? I'm going to explain both of them, but one of them needs to be selected, right? So check out all the others. Sometimes I select option 1, sometimes I select option 2, but basically with this video you can you get the grasp of what you need to do, right? Super F7 VirtualBox. Let's clone this one. I start with ArcoLinuxD, right? And then I want to have Bspwm. Now, this is a virtual machine. It's a simulation. Oh, that's wrong. And I just want to make a remark that this is not the real thing. So things can go wrong because of the fact that we are in a simulation, that this is not the real metal computer system, laptop, desktop. It's always better to install on real metal and experience the full effect of ArcoLinux, because you're giving half of the memory away, half of the cores away, and it will slow down. But of course, for tutorial's sake, it's interesting to have a virtual machine so you can keep on making tutorials. So just so you know that VirtualBox is not the real thing. So option 1, we boot up with ArcoLinuxD, the D ISO. It gives us the ultimate feeling of freedom. During installation, we can make all kinds of decisions and choices, and it will be installed graphically. So no ArcoLinux way, that's the more technical way. If you want to have an ArcoLinux way, it's going to be more with scripts, right? Check out the articles here. 3 buttons, important buttons. 1 is to get the fastest ArcoLinux mirror where you live. 2 is clean anything maybe that you have already on the hard disk. Maybe there's Windows on there, Linux, Mint, Ubuntu, whatever, and clean it out. Start with a clean slate, and then last thing, run Calamares. That's the first the version for future reference. Choose a language you like. And then we go on with thinking, do I need another kernel? Every system here has a kernel, right? Open terminal here. This is ArcoLinuxD, hence the look will be not nice. This is not nice, right? But it shows you that we have on the ISO a kernel, 5.9.1, and that one will be installed. But at this point in time, there is 5.9.8 already. So do you want the latest Linux kernel? Straight after boot, that's this, install only the latest Linux kernel, not the one from the ISO, just to make sure you get it. If you don't click this, you get the one from the ISO. If you click here, it's going to be downloaded. So you're gonna need internet. No internet, no fun, right? No internet, no fun. And Calamares will just skip it, so it will not install it because, well, can't find it. Next, some kind of services you'd like. And then we are at the LightYam. And now it's up to me to decide what video will this be. Will this become an option 1 or will this become an option 2? Option 1 is simple in the sense that it's just clicking, and I'm gonna go for option 1 and I'm gonna explain later on option 2. So basically we decide what pieces of the Lego box we wanna get out of there. We could take another one, but you know LightYam is what we support. It's on all our ISOs, 24 ISOs. Just boot up with LightYam, and there's never been an issue with LightYam. There is, however, issues what's behind it. Tiling window manager is not working, configuration is not correct, NVIDIA driver is not correct, and that's why we get LightYam failed. But it's not LightYam that's failing, it's the thing behind it. All right, next. This is a video about Bspwm. We're going down it alphabetically and updating our articles. You see what we put on here. And a lots of ArcoLinux stuff, right? And also other Lego blocks from other people. That should work, that will be updated. And that's what we choose. We could choose more, but it's entirely up to you. If you want to combine it with something else, just one tip, keep deeping alone. Don't mix deeping with anything, is my tip. Bspwm, go next. More software. Remember, the more things you select, the more things you need to download, the more things you need to install, the longer the installation will take, and the more patient you need to be. I'll just go through it. Belgian, next. And then the new option here is swap to file. In this version of Calamares, we can do it with hibernate. So let's do this one. Every installation is a little bit different. I'm reminding myself to do next time a encrypt system. Why not, right? As long as you remember your password. And there we go. So we're off. What am I doing? So I've done option 1, installing the desktop with Calamares. During the installation of Calamares, I decide this, and that. And then if you've never seen this article the first time, you get this question on Telegram or Discord. What's this? I end in a black screen, right? In a TTY. Well, yeah, you have decided at some point in time to use a display manager, I hope, right? And a desktop. But which one should I enable? Should I enable LightDM? Should I enable SDM, GDM, LXDM? I don't know. So that's something you've decided. You chose LightDM, for example, so you're going to write this. And the other example, you would enable SDDM.service. And you can, if you don't like to type, .service is not needed. Okay, so that's basically what we have chosen, but we have to wait till the system, the minimal system we have, is going on there, plus LightDM, plus Bspwm. That's what we're waiting for. If I would do the other way, the option 2, which I can show you later on, then you are cloning something from the internet. And where is this something? There you go for this. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Arco Bspwm. ArcoLinuxD GitHub contains all our desktops. Reuse our scripts. They're not perfect in the sense that they're never perfect, because choices are personal. Do you like Firefox? No. You want Google Chrome, or you want Chromium, or. There's so many choices, and we've made our choices inside all these scripts. The point is, it's an example. We've put in a lot of work, 190 commits, to keep all this working and up to date. And the thing is, reuse that particular code. It becomes technical in this year, right? But deciding to install, where are you? Deciding to install variety is up to you, right? If you delete all these lines, they're all gone and variety will not be installed. Do you like Atom? Maybe you like Genie, right? So add Genie to the list if you want to have that too. So it's not that difficult to read. GIMP, Nomax, and GIMP, GIMP, Inkscape, and Nomax. Well, I don't know if there's another graphics software package we can add, but we can at least remove, for example, Inkscape. Get rid of it. So these scripts can become your scripts. And then just a suggestion, why not make an account on GitHub and put it on there? And you can do exactly the same thing I do. But it's not going to be called ArcoLinuxD. It's going to be called ArcoLinux something else, right? Not ArcoLinux, but every Bspwm in my case, I have my own GitHub, right? And you have your own name there. And then Arco Bspwm, and then keep on improving it. Each time you install it, it's the best way to do it. After every clean install, you keep on working on these scripts. Say, I like this, I didn't like that, wanted this, do not want that. And then you push it back to the internet. And working with GitHub is not difficult. Yes, we have tutorials how to do that. We have it all, right? The question is where. In this case, I have to think. I would look for it in ArcoLinuxD, GitHub as backup. It's all explained. Maybe it needs an update, but it's all explained how to set up your first, GitHub. And then you have something, why would I do this? Why do I need GitHub? Easy, quick installation. It's a backup system. You can sync it. You can share with others. Say, this is my configuration, and so on, right? So it's a cool thing to do. All right. I've chatted enough to restart. So remember, we've chosen option 1, which means we'll go into line 3, since this is VirtualBox. You end up in a black login screen. True. And that's only a question. If I type now update, it will come from a certain server. Which server? It's going to come from this server, the first line, osbeck.com. It's created 2020 November 17 on 12 o'clock 38 UTC. Basically, it's up to date. This is the most current one. If not, mirror. There is mirror A, there is mirror S, there is mirror D. You can try it out and see if you get a different result. But for me, I think I'm good if I type update and do its, let him do his job. And if the download is not like you see here, so it's quite fast actually, then you change it. You change for the mirror. You just type mirror and then you get another mirror list. Hopefully it's going to be better for you. So mirror done. Well, not done, skipped because we think it's good. Update, doing it. And here we see the new Linux kernel coming in. Well, in the sense that he's updating the boot init RAM file system and now the fallback. So the many make init cpio always takes a bit of time. And if you're new to ArcoLinux, we tend to get a lot of kernel updates in. I was a bit curious. I've never shown this in any videos, but I was just curious how many ArcoLinux, the kernel updates do we get? So this is the latest kernel we get from ArcoLinux. Few changes, and then it's up to us. Let's count. November 10, November 10, November 10, November 10. Here we October 1. So I guess we start counting here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 kernels in 1 month time. So we have a number. 2 kernels per week. All right. It doesn't bother us, but it's important to know that the kernel is a layer between your hardware and the software. And sometimes things are not working because the kernel changed, updated, and a particular piece in your hardware is not supported anymore. So you downgrade Linux, and go back to, well, downgrade is not installed, right? This is not a flagship. So if I want to show you guys, I need to say sudo pacman -s downgrade, and then I can show you what I wanted to show. I think we need sudo for it, sudo downgrade Linux. And all these Linux kernels are available. So if you know, hey, I started with 5.8 and that was working just fine, you go back to number 146, and you just follow the steps. That's downgrading. Now, what was I doing before I was doing all that? So update is what we did. What we didn't do is a sudo reboot because there's a kernel in there. All right, that's done. And then we're still in a black system. What's going on, right? What's going on? Well, you decided at some point in time to choose either LightDM, either GDM, either LXDM or LightDM. So I want to enable LightDM, and it gives us this beautiful line. If you don't see the beautiful line, not successful. Sometimes you're learning, let's say, right? You install lots of things and you say, why is it not working? You get an error. Good tip, -F is forcing it. It's going to overwrite whatever is there. For instance, you've tried GDM and you want to switch back to Display Manager for LightDM, right? It can't do that because there is already something there. There is already GDM. with a -F, you overwrite it. That being said, I can maybe better explain this in the second. So the second option is installing the desktop with scripts. Mirror, we've skipped this one in this video, thinking it's okay, and it was okay, it was super fast. Update, done that, rebooted as well. So if you are going for option 2, Bspwm is not installed and we need to get scripts in, and that's option 2. I can show you what it is, it's not that difficult. Git clone, and then you just keep typing, it's gonna be on GitHub. What ISO are you starting with? ArcoLinuxD, ArcoLinuxD, and what do you like to have? Well, would be nice if I had Bspwm. Enter. And then you go inside this Arco directory, ls, and basically run everything, right? Everything that's green, well, no, that's not correct. From 100 till 800, that's all you need, and not the Git version 1 and the setup or Git credentials. That's for us, maintenance files. All right, so this is option 2. Git clone, run whatever you like to run. The most important thing is, of course, 100. We start with that. And 500 and 600 are the ArcoLinux look and feel, sometimes I say. It's the soul. It's the look, it's the feel. It's the real ArcoLinux, well, soul. All right, that being said, so I'm not going to use these scripts. I have used option 1, saying go and enable LightDM. What will happen if I reboot? LightDM is enabled. So will I end up in a TTY? This is taking too long. Seems VirtualBox has issues. In a previous video be awesome. I had issues as well. So Control R, I'm gonna reboot again into Bspwm. This does not feel good. It's too long. It takes too long to load up. Might be a VirtualBox thing and not our doing. It does take too long, right? Control F. Now Control F again. I'm gonna go Control F3. We can go inside TTY, so that's a good thing. If something goes wrong, and you can open Control Alt F3, bare metal, and VirtualBox, right Control F3, F4, and so on. We can have a look, right? We can have a look around, say, okay, what's going on? System is up to date. Sudo pacman -s is Bspwm there. WM, that's installed. Yes, old version, new version, that's installed, so that's not a problem, should not be a problem. Did we do a scal? No, we did not do a scal, I think. Right, we did not do a scal. And that's the reason. Why? Hey guys, it says so. So it depends on what you have. Take a look at all the long list. There are tiling window managers, and these guys use configurations, and the configuration has to be in your home directory. That's why. So Budgie, Cinnamon, Deeping, GNOME, ISWM, JWM, Kodi is actually XFCE, LXQT, Mate, Plasma, and even Ukui are all desktops, so they don't really require a scal. So decide whether you use our scal command or not. In this case, it's necessary to do that. So let's reboot. Scal, if you don't know what scal is, it's all about copy pasting the content of etc scal of two folders, etc then scal, and copy paste it on your system. Because when LightDM is here, that's great. Bspwm is here, That's cool. But if Bspwm launches, it can't find a configuration, nothing happens. And there you go. Quit. And yes, it's still a lot of work, a lot of things to do, probably things you'd like to install, like Ctrl-Alt-F. For Firefox is not working, right? Super F5 is melt, it's not working. Ctrl-Alt-V is Vivaldi, is not working. And why am I saying all these things? Because frankly, once you go to tiling window managers, you should learn your keyboard shortcuts. And this flashing thing you see up here is because Pulse audio is not there. There is nothing to read. What percentage is the volume, right? There's nothing to read. So you still need to install a lot of things, and that's might be more complex for some people, but that's also the fun of ArcoLinuxD. We started with ArcoLinuxD. It's the most minimal one. So it's like a Sherlock Holmes story. You have to figure out now what elements do I need to build it up so that I get, for example, an ArcoLinuxB Bspwm. So that's the difference. The B is all themed and tweaked, and out of the box it will be just beautiful, right? And the videos are here somewhere, right? Let's go here and go and have a look. So BSP, there are two options. Build it. We explain how you build it. Then it becomes your ISO with Steam on it. You have an ISO, you burn it on a USB, and then you install it. And that's this one. And in the end, you get our complete picture how we see, how ArcoLinux sees Bspwm. It's always in change, but it's gonna be complete. The puzzle is complete. The Lego box, the Lego pieces are complete. Here, they're not. You still need to figure out lots of things, which is fun, right? Will take a lot of time, but again, use scripts. Maybe you can reuse these guys, and for instance, to solve the sound up there, right? Install sound. Right mouse click, open terminal, and read what's inside. What is it doing? What's in there? And edit it, change it. It's Pulse audio that's going in, but much more. And off it goes. Now Pulse audio is not gonna work click like that. We need to sudo reboot. And it's always a good reflex. It's a good reflex to say, okay, maybe it's gonna work if I reboot. And it often happens also on Plasma. When we get a bunch, Plasma is always seems to be like a tsunami of packages. Well, the best tip I can give you is go ahead and just reboot, right? Otherwise you'll see a lot of errors. So you see we have 45 here, and we can scroll over it and make it bigger and louder and softer, right? So yeah, there is a connection now with Pulse audio. All right, I think that concludes more or less the video. There's still a lot of things to do, but that's the point of ArcoLinuxD. You start out very minimal and you build it up. You choose what packages you want, and you do not install the ones you don't want. All right, have fun.